It's Ricker, it's Bond, it's an all AI podcast because the US economy is built on it right now. Maybe for not like a couple more months and then it all goes away.
Yeah, it's heavy, AI heavy. We talk about the Devil Wears Prada a little bit. We talk about
There's
Drake a
about
little bit.
15 minutes and a little bit of Drake, 15 minutes of the Devil Wears Prada too, but it all ties back in at the end of the episode to how founders make product.
Yes, don't worry. We will have the Devil Wears Prada and Drake specific episode coming soon.
It's like fashion. I just spoiled it for you, but you're going to want to see the juicy bits at the end.
Tap in.
They also, high fashion steals from street fashion, but it's a little cat and mouse game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, thanks for listening. Enjoyed the episode so much. And Peter, thanks.
Thanks, Peter. Love you.
Until I leave a print, I'll smack that ass until it's cheetah print. Damn. Smack that ass, smack that big old ass high, smack that ass, smack it, smack that big old ass high, smack that ass, smack it, smack that big old ass high.
Detroit Miami base is being brought back.
Why did it sound like two songs were playing?
Because we mix on Ricker and Bond.
That was mixing? What? I thought my AirPods were malfunctioning. That was rough, brother.
The YouTube going back, and it was, YouTube volume.
I don't know if the volume was like an issue. Could have been the timing. Could have been.
I don't have EQ. I have nothing. All I have is YouTube volume.
Oh, man. Yikes.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think the audience did too.
I was like, yo, what is going on here? Is this the real song? It can't be.
I think everybody who just listened to that was like, yo, dude, this guy's killing it right now. He should be on iHeartRadio.
Hopefully they got this far into the pod without clicking away.
Well, they usually don't click away because with over 80,000 hours listened, it's Ricker and Bond on YouTube, Ricker and Bond on Instagram, Ricker and Bond on TikTok. It's your boys that give you the hottest stories that you need to know, including my review on The Devil Wears Prada 2. That's right. I saw it in theaters and it was a 9.3 film.
I think you say every film.
9.3.
Is up there.
I have a Notion database full of media I've intaken, and sure, the Weekend movie got a little bit inflated, but other than that, I'm a very fair grader, and I would have given it a 10, but it would have ruined the scale. Movie.
It was widely considered one of the worst movies of 2025.
9.3 movie. 2025. Oh, The Weekend.
Yeah,
The Weekend's not a 9.3. That was I didn't even rate that. I just wrote The Weekend, which is like a very accurate rating.
My mom said The Devil Wears Prada was just okay.
Oh my gosh, has she seen Devil Wears Prada 1?
Duh.
Oh, I don't think I have because I was a young boy, but I have a memory of like talking about it at least in like a Target or something. And, but I did see some segments of it on TV, The Devil Wears Prada 2006. And
so you just had to go see the second one?
Well, even before seeing the segments, I wanted to see The Devil Wears Prada 2 because there was some kind of childhood lore in there. Mm-hmm. And Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci.
Yes, of course.
I love Meryl Streep's work.
Your favorites. Your favorite.
Stanley Tucci. I mean, it's an institutional player right there.
Now, let me ask you this. Does a 29-year-old man go see The Devil Wears Prada 2 himself in theaters?
I went with a family member of mine, but I did drag them along. I was forcing them to go.
Oh, interesting. Got it.
What is it about? Yeah, it's about a journalist that has been laid off.
Got it.
She just got an award, bro.
AI.
Yeah. Well, the dying media industry. It's a love story to media, really. The Devil Wears Prada 2.
He gets laid off from BuzzFeed.
It was not BuzzFeed. It was a journalistic. It was called The Vanguard, actually.
Oh wow.
And she just got an award. She's sitting with her homies at her table. Awards coming. Phones bling up, dude. Everyone's getting a text.
Is this Anne Hathaway?
This is Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
The award, she looks at her phone. Her side supporting actor says, "That's everybody." She gets the award. She goes up to stage. We all just got laid off. Conflict.
Damn.
Conflict.
She said that?
No, she didn't say conflict. She said,
Wait, so she gets messages on her phone that she got laid off as she's getting the award.
Whole table got laid off.
That sucks.
At the core of The Devil Wears Prada is it's a narrative about class.
And then what happens?
Well, that was only the first
Gotta see
scene.
it. Oh.
And I will talk about it more.
What's the first one about?
She is a writer that went to New York, wanted to write, but interns at a fashion magazine for a rugged, wry old boss in Meryl Streep. And then, like, I don't know, she like doesn't like that she's doing stuff.
Why on earth did I think The Devil Wears Prada was about the devil coming to Earth as a woman and just being evil?
Have you worked for Meryl Streep's character?
No.
Exactly. She
Yeah,
is
wow.
Literally the devil.
Maybe I should watch it. Can I have your Netflix password?
Yeah. She goes back to her old job because you found out later, hey, spoilers, Stanley Tucci recommended her to the boss of the media company. It's a love story about media and equity, dude.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Is it really? Or
I will say 2-hour movie, 120 minutes flew by. There wasn't a point where I was slacking.
yeah. That's great. You think this is something that could have been like released straight to Netflix or?
Yes, but I think it did numbers because, you know, the only thing that sells tickets is sequels of nostalgia of a better yesteryear.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson biopics, 600 million.
Same thing, nostalgia yesteryear.
Yeah.
She gets hired as a PR stunt. Her boss is like, you're just literally, I don't even remember you. That was funny. It was funny. It's like 20 years ago. And Anne Hathaway was an intern and Meryl Streep like, who the fuck are you, dude? And because, you know, Meryl Streep.
Even though Anne Hathaway looks exactly the same as she did 20 years ago.
Wasn't even on Meryl Streep's character's radar, dude. That's how much she didn't care about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And she kind of always wanted validation. Anne Hathaway.
Jealousy. Jealous of her youth and good looks.
Private equity buys. No. The owner of the company dies, falls on a table at Stanley Tucci's birthday.
Nice. Shouldn't have been on the table in the first place.
It was on a table. He collapsed onto a table dead. I laughed in the theater. I was chastised for laughing. It was funny.
Asshole.
It was
Asshole.
funny.
Dick.
And at that scene, I was like, there's no more conflict. They say, digital media, she was writing features, long form features, but they didn't get clicks now because it's in the digital age and the owner was mad. Meryl Streep was mad. They get one big interview with a woman who was divorced from a tech man and it was like a schlub. He's important later. It's 15 minutes in. I don't think I can say everything, but it's...
But you're covering the whole movie in our special surprise episode coming out later this week.
Patreon only.
Yeah, I won't be on that episode, but but it is, it's coming up. So
yeah, dude.
Stay tuned for that.
It's about private equity and ownership in media, and nothing's more fun than that, dude. Yeah. Anyways, how's your day?
Oh, man, I just been shoving Drake in my ears all day, you know, like
too much music.
For those who don't know, 3 albums. What?
I think 2 hours or 1 hour each, and then one was like 45 minutes. I saw a clip of two grown men watching some kind of release. Was there a video announcement?
I think there was like a stream or something.
Did they break the ice and the ice showed?
Oh yeah, no, that was for releasing the release date of the album.
The Rollout King, dude.
Yeah, so since like hip hop's dying, Drake just had to swoop in and save it. Like right before the summer too. Like great timing. He's just giving us enough content to like get us through the rest of the year.
She,
Since other artists seem to think it's cool to not make music to quench the thirst of their fans.
I did see on a comment on Instagram, brought to you by Meta, that someone was pondering if he released 3 albums to get out of some kind of contract he was in.
I've seen that too.
Ooh,
I've seen that too.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone loves a conversation. Maybe he just felt like dropping 3 albums. Maybe he just had so much backlog stuff. He was like, fuck it. Let's just do it.
I rock with that.
What's stopping me?
Maybe his record label.
Good. Yeah, it could be the case too.
Cerebrus, Cisco, Trump Chi, Google. Ooh, that's not good. Anthropic and the Gates Foundation, and a hot CPI with some other potentially hot, juicy stories. Cerebrus. Everybody knows at this point they make big, giant chips. I thought we liked tiny chips.
I
They
don't
make
know.
big wafer chips. I thought everybody was stoked on little, tiny, itty bitty chips.
I do think I heard Jensen Wong talking about this when he said
wafer
that
style?
no, he was saying that like the bigger the chip, the better it is or something.
I mean, that kind of would make some sense.
That makes sense.
If someone said it made sense to me.
But yeah, I'm not sure. But
Okay, well, Cerebrus is a company that is IPOing, closes up 68% at the IPO. Cerebrus Systems, this is CBRS on the stock exchanges, priced at IPO at 185, began trading on NASDAQ under the ticker Thursday, May 14th, underwritten by Goldman Sachs, your boys, Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup, pushed along the line as the longest pure play AI IPO ever and the largest U.S. tech offering since Uber's 2019 debut. I mean, right around the time when The Devil Wears Prada 2 comes out. Is it a coincidence?
probably.
Yes. Company sold 30 million shares May 4th, above a Bloomberg reported midweek range at 150. They made $5.55 billion, which doesn't seem like a lot of money. Shares peaked. The company printed $510 million in 2025 revenue with your friends GAAP net income, $237.8 billion, the bulk of which traces back to OpenAI compute contracts signed in January. And that was 750 megawatts of inference capacity, expanded to 2 gigawatts by 2030, valued at more than $20 billion at full extension. There's some AWS binding term sheets in there. And I'll tell you about the founder and stuff after I say this quick aside. Anthropic and their desktop app is becoming unusable for this user.
I'm glad you bring that up. Last week, I think I said something about AI not being in a bubble. I would like to recant that statement. I think I changed my mind after doing further research and seeing some signals that have convinced me otherwise. The signals being one, GitHub Copilot used to be, I don't know, I'm just going to say a number, like what, $20 a month, and then you get to just use it. And then they said in June they were transitioning to pay per use, which means they can no longer afford to subsidize token usage for developers. And Anthropic came out and basically said the same thing. So they have this thing called Agent SDK, which you can like make software with it that uses AI, and you pay a monthly fee. And a lot of companies and startups and rappers with a W, were using the Agents SDK, and just making money and not paying a lot for AI. Anthropic said, no more of that. If you want to use quote unquote cheap AI, tiered AI, you have to use it in what's called a harness. You have to use it in our harnesses. So that being either Claude Code in the terminal, Claude Cowork, or Claude Code for desktop, or Claude for web. So you basically have to use our model in our product in order to keep this regular monthly pricing. And they're doing this basically because like they cannot afford to subsidize AI for people anymore. And I suspect that in the future, maybe in the next year or so, especially after the IPO, they're going to do the same for regular users who are paying either $2,100 or $200 a month. And also, if you use the API to make your software, you are being charged on a usage basis, which is like what Anthropic would rather charge people. So and the API is not that much, but at scale, if you have software serving lots of users, it like makes it super expensive.
Other web services charge you if you get more users. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But they still also give you it basically for free, and like these render services and the other alt render.
So you and I use AI, but not a lot compared to like huge organizations that are just like chomping through tokens. Uber said that they already exhausted their AI budget for the year, and it's only May. Mm-hmm. So like think about companies like that where what they're paying for AI, they could just like employ a developer, or a few, so it looks like the real bottleneck, a new bottleneck here is going to be the cost to have AI. I think free AI is going away soon. And only in the future, only a couple companies or a handful of companies will be able to afford the true cost of company-wide or enterprise AI.
Gemini's CLI, I think, is even free, and then they have their pro bundles for their AI suites.
Gemini is free. Too bad Gemini sucks.
Google might have kind of bundled their pricing better than these other folks.
This could be the argument for hosting your own model on your own machine.
Yeah, but I trust these other people's models more than random open source models.
Some of the open source models are good, and also some of them are made by like Google. Like Gemma is made by Google. It's a small model in terms of size. You can put it on a Mac Mini. But you gotta like, besides the Mac Mini, which is pretty affordable, you gotta have a fairly expensive machine in order to get like Opus or Codex level AI locally.
I wonder how much, I'm kind of just thinking of me personally, but what's the lowest level of model that could do the stuff I'm doing, which is basically just making a website and scraping?
Probably Gemma or DeepSeek.
Woo! I didn't even know DeepSeek, dude. True blood American dog.
Yeah, if you're just making websites, then that's like a fairly easy task.
Kind of more. That was kind of the foundational thing. Kind of like products now.
You can do that. Like, you're not like, you don't have like giant code bases it has to scrape through that are like. Do you?
Some pretty big databases. Well, there's some databases, and like the internet.
Give it a shot. What's the best computer you have? Or the newest computer?
My Mac M1 Pro with 60
you're cooked.
gigabytes of memory.
Cooked.
Doing website due diligence. Google loves to surface things you say on Instagram and YouTube very easily. I know you've brought up Black Crab in the past, but you might want to do another clip right now so it's very searchable and discoverable.
Oh.
I was looking up Rivet and it was like, hey, dude, you're not plugged into Discovery yet, but you made fun of it on a YouTube and clipped it, and so we're telling people about it. So you can probably do that with products that you want to do right now.
Oh, sweet. Hey, guys, today's episode is brought to you by Black Crab. Black Crab is a Claude Code GUI that I made specifically for the Claude Code power user. Don't you just hate it when you have a bunch of instances in your terminal and there's windows everywhere, or you got to click between tabs? Now with Black Crab, you can put up to 6 terminal windows side by side in grid mode with Black Crab and easily manage all of your instances. It is for the Claude Code power user. It's super easy to install. Just go to blackcrab.app, install it. It should automatically hook up to your Claude Code if you're already signed in to Claude Code with the terminal, and it's 100% free and open source. So go ahead and try it out right now and let me know what you think. blackcrab.app.
Get on it quick, because when there is users, monetization popped up.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll monetize this one because I don't know. Huh?
Because of scary security liabilities?
Well, no, I kind of want, because this is like geared at developers, I made it open source so that somebody better at the craft of software development than me can contribute to it and make it as good as possible.
Oh, Sam Altman in the building, dude. Mr. Altruism, Mr. Engineering Altruism over here, dude.
I want to be clear. I'm not doing this to save the whales. I just want to make the software as good as possible. And it's actually getting like quite a bit of downloads, I think, because it's free. Like, people are giving it a shot. It's at like 160 right now. And I've done no advertising besides on this podcast.
Can you tell if it's manual or like, can you can code? I didn't want to say agents, but I'll say agents. Can agent codes grab it?
Like grab the link. Oh, yeah, no, that's a good point. It is very possible, because it's just like counting how many times the download button's clicked. It could be like agents or crawlers like going on the website and just like clicking shit. Because my like actual install number is lower, I think. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's lower. And like the app's only been, it's like way lower. It's like in the 20s. Active installs last 30 days. But according to Google Analytics, people from all over the world are accessing the website. So
right on.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Speaking of Google, actually, I want to do Anthropic first. Anthropic signed a deal with the Gates Foundation, who you might be aware of, Mr. William Gates. Signed a $200 million 4-year partnership that is a grant funding cloud credits and engineering support directed at global health, parentheses, polio, HPV, and eclampsia. I know you're a big fan of eclampsia. You've done a lot of work in this space.
Yes.
K-12 tutoring and smallholder farm agronomy. And everybody knows what agronomy is, but if someone doesn't know, then they can say it's the science of soil management and crop production, which is sick as hell, dude.
Nice.
The deal lands the same week Anthropic absorbed Colossus One, which is the SpaceX Super Comp, I believe, and signed Google for $200 billion in TPUs, which everybody knows now is a tensor product processing unit. Are you freaking nerds?
Yeah, freaking nerds.
It's very fun to call people nerds.
Yeah.
Ironically, because it's like, it's actually kind of nerdy to call someone a nerd. Anyways.
Get laid, pussy.
The Model Lab is moving into development, finance, scale, and infrastructure deployment. So Miss and Mr. Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation gives $200 million to Anthropic to give out API credits with people using it for health, education, and agriculture is what it seems like.
That sounds pretty noble.
Well,
we're not going to forget what you did on Epstein Island, but
I don't talk about other people. The announcement was made as it was. Any other details here?
That's interesting that you can like fucking like gift someone, like donate tokens so that organizations can use it.
I was listening to the Odd Lots podcast. Shout out Odd Lots podcast, Odd Lots Discord. Stripe co-founder was on talking about agentic commerce, and it's been brought up, I think, especially in like software circles, because, you know, open source and stuff. But if a bunch of commerce is somehow in the hands of a swath of retail users, and retail users like to buy things, and it's somehow a nice digestible AI system and not your terminal where you make stuff on a whim, but it's like a freaking, you know, your Alexa, what's Alexa's countertop device?
Echo?
Sure, but the one with the
Amazon screen. Echo? I don't know.
One of their devices with the screen. Also a Black Mirror episode narrative, but it says, yo, you're running out of toilet paper. Should I go ahead and whip that up on Amazon Prime? And then you're probably logged in already. I actually haven't purchased anything through this flow, but Stripe and Odd Lots hosts were talking about if you do get agentic commerce, is everything just going to be micropayments on the internet? And does the internet become less free if you're like trying to find a newspaper site and you're reading an article, and usually a human wouldn't pay for a 40-cent newspaper article online, but if you're prompting your code app to give you a daily newspaper, it gives you 8 stories from other websites, and that all costs like 40 cents, and a code agent made it the transaction and not a human.
Yeah.
The things go micro payment.
Someone did that with Claude Claude Bot, OpenClaw.
Yeah.
They said I gave my OpenClaw my credit card and said, like, just buy something if you think I need it, if you need to complete the task. I could definitely see you just being like, hey, I'll give you $10 a month to like purchase anything like related to news if you need to. And like, you don't have to ask me. And if you run out of money, then let me know and I'll give you some.
Personal. And it's kind of the example of news works pretty good because a lot of that stuff is, 1, written by humans, 2, already pay gated. And most people don't pay for that, but they like the news.
Usually higher quality too, if it's behind a paywall of some sort.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, you could make personalized information subscriptions a fun. It's basically an RSS feed, but people don't do RSS feeds, so you make a cool client product where Claude grabs you 10 different articles that you like each morning for $6 a day. Bundle that up,
That
subscription.
that low key kind of just sounds like Apple News or something, or Google News.
True.
Or have you seen the ChatGPT Pulse feature on the app?
Is it a feed? Is it new?
Yeah, it's new. It's like it doesn't really give you news, but it like shit you've been talking about with ChatGPT, it'll like pull it. Like if you like said, "Hey, I want to lose weight," it'll be like, "Hey, I put together a plan for this week for you to stop being such a fat fuck."
Mm. Bringing up memory
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. ChatGPT is getting good, bro. It's asking. I'm usually not one to do this, but it's just like been helpful. It's asking for. I connected my email to it, and fuck, like I'm gonna get roasted for this. I connected a bank account to it. Yikes. I just wanted to see.
Oh, is that finance?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if it's better than these finance spending tracking apps.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of helpful to just be like, yo, I spent too much money last night. Am I still on track to like be on budget? And it'll like just tell you. It's actually quite helpful.
The consumer rap, man, is what some folks over at Sequoia talked about. Software engineering currently at the moment is kind of flattening. Maybe not if you charge more. And I'll be sad.
In terms of hiring?
In terms of what?
In terms of hiring?
There's less of a barrier entry to make products.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So with that, the more customer modes you have, the better. It's kind of what, business people have said for eons, but it's true. And if you get a freaking interface you like and you add more verticals onto it, then it's a little bit, there's probably some psychology in it when like a human reads, "Hey man, you've been talking about blah, 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 blah." Some kind of little spark that's a level up above confetti from buying a stock.
Hey man, you've been talking about suicide a lot, so I went ahead and called the police.
No mental health work. Yeah, I've been more satisfied even before Anthropic rate limits with Codex coding than Claude coding in the recent weeks.
Yeah, Open Source 7 sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just like not.
Do the leapfrog again, folks. We leapfrog every 3 to 6 weeks.
Isn't that great though about competition? You're just like, oh, this sucks. Let me hop on over. Let me switch jerseys real quick. And they're like we're watching in real time. These companies literally push each other to make
they should coordinate
best products.
You might as well. I mean,
coordinate.
I'm legit.
Nah, fuck that.
I'm cool. Scale it up so we can all get some more.
Nah, fuck them. One winner.
Well, sure, but on the way there, if we can both boost. Anthropic, I'm close to freaking, because I'm only going to grab a $20 plan right now, because science.
Wait, were you in the free?
No. But I have 20.
I would just bite the bullet and do the 100.
No, off of principle,
dude. Dude, off principle, dude. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. I use AI a lot, and I have a hard time reaching the limit on the $100.
Ooh, I like how that sounds.
Yeah, it's like it's rare, bro. I use it at my job and for personal projects, and it's like kind of difficult to reach that limit. Yeah, just try it for 1 month. Fuck it. You won't go back.
I know. I know. That's the thing. That's how they make money so far. Is people long tails 8, 9, 12 months using 20, going hard, and then saying, "Hey, bro, from a referral."
You better do it before they start charging what it actually costs.
You think grandfather did? No, they get rid of all those cats.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they get more money.
Yeah, watch that happen.
I find it now that products are being democratized, as some might say. Now that you can freaking pay $1,000 and make a product. Big rush of build, dope, ship, version 1, usable, not grand as it could be, usable, okay, a little bit of UI stuff, that's all right. Then somewhat of a soul crush, going out into the market, seeing similar things. Yeah. I wanted to make, I was doing a few content things for reports, research reports that show up on Rivid. I was just popping up a computer, reading them myself. Human reading. Plugged it into Notebook LLM. Gives you a freaking faceless cartoon explainer. Sick as hell. Experiment with that as well. Versus also kind of Notebook LLM podcast versus human podcast of just reading it. / LLM conversing with human either via text or on dueling episode pods. Kind of like, you ever watch the Green Brothers? Not really.
Yes.
But they talked to each other on episode to episode. So I was going to do human intaking information and trying to spit it back out versus LLM, probably Google doing the same as that.
And you didn't do it because you found a competitor that does it?
No, doing all that, somewhat unrelated, that whole stack of the content stack. The competitor stuff is like, especially with, and it's related to news, which was another product idea, but scrape a bunch of research reports, similar interface as a news.google.com, and you just brought up a pulse. And you could probably easily get 7 links a day of links, probably even a better scraping mechanism than what I currently have right now. Who knows? Then that goes back to consumer wrapping. And if you build from someone's freaking identity enough to go back to that site versus news.google and go into technology. Interesting. The soul crushing thing was like, you build and then you kind of have that release of shipping and then like going back to reality and having to build again. I talked about it with the Devil Wears Prada 2. There's like a new scenario, conflict, success, and then new scenario again. It's kind of like the narrative of life, I suppose. Wanted to make, I was reading the Wall Street Journal, probably going to make an agentic newspaper, which I'm sure exists, but going to make it for the sake of the workflow. Yeah, I'm kind of going back towards media formats, but agentic form versus like the very raw human format of it, and like duel them against each other, just kind of for my own world, see what performs better, how people react to it differently.
And you think you're gonna do all this with a $20 subscription?
That's what I'm saying, dude. And these cats at Sequoia were like, bro, you could, and I've heard it from multiple sources as well, where like everything's getting condensed. Freaking half of the Devil Wears Prada 2 was like a narrative on work, labor. Everything I goes back to Devil Wears Prada 2. With old coworkers, the Devil Wears Prada 2 was also fashion, but Gucci, the movie, also with Lady Gaga, was in Devil Wears Prada 2. And that was the same joke. A bunch of stuff getting condensed. Work labor probably getting condensed more in like 2 years even more so than it is now, because everyone's saying that all innovation will be more technologically advanced than it is now. And people are already laying off people because they want any excuse to lay off people. Shout out also Amazon doing that right now. Condensed time periods, what you can make in freaking 10 years, 100 years, you can make in 100 days. So I was kind of sprinting towards stacks of, if I wanted to make a company that endures centuries, where might that start as a foundation? I was looking up companies that existed for over 100 years. A lot of them are Japanese spas.
Interesting.
Family ran. Maybe a bit of a cultural difference as well, but also a physical infrastructure of like humans getting well. Pretty interesting. But there's like 3 couple century old Japanese spas.
Interesting. So are you saying you're concerned with the price of the cost of making software getting too cheap so that everybody can do it? Or
no, not concerned with that. That's cool. I like that because I can do stuff and more companies will be made. More people can execute on ideas. But at the end of that, especially when you scale up with bigger top companies using that technology, workforce is going to look different and more people, bad jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So that is also one thing to think about. I think maybe the only one of the top 5 helpful things is to help people make money. You can only really do that when you've done it. But yeah, I'm just trying to make a freaking suite of products that interlock with each other, wrap a consumer, and exist for like 400 to 600 years. Why not, dude?
Damn, bro. Well, you better get started. That sounds like a pretty big job.
Yeah, Rivid.com, WRIVID.com.
I will say that I have noticed that in order to charge for software in the vibe coding era, your software needs to be flawless in terms of functionality and execution.
Because you could kind of whip it up within a week.
Kinda, yeah. Well, because I guess the justification for charging a lot for capable software a few years ago was that it costs a lot to create, right? And also, if it helps you do something expensive where there's a lot of money on the line, you probably want to charge for it. Mm-hmm. But if you can do it yourself for free almost, why pay for it? Well, you pay for it now because the expectation is higher. So, for example, if I have a company that has payroll software and I'm just okay, let me vibe code it. And then there's a bug and my entire company doesn't get paid. The cost of that is really high. Who knows how much that could cost when I could just pay somebody that actually knows how to make software correctly, or better yet, pay a company where their entire mission is just to make payroll software. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't go wrong, I can fucking sue them or get my money back or something, and I can just focus on my business. That's what I mean, where the expectation of software you pay for is higher, because even though everyone can do it, only a few people can do it well.
Yeah. I mean, again, kind of a classic business thing of expertise in a very small area. So that's you're the best in that area.
Yeah.
It's some things, a new technology emerges and then people say the foundational principles of some kind of sector of society and they're like, oh, I forgot about that.
'Cause one small little bug can fucking cost your company a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. That was an interesting. Interesting to experience product iteration.
Yeah,
Haven't really experienced before.
that's the name of the game. It's like, to quote The Social Network, kind of, when they released Facebook, the character Eduardo asked Mark Zuckerberg, "So is it done? Like, is Facebook already done making Facebook?" And Mark Zuckerberg said, "It's never done. It's like fashion, which just keeps changing."
Yeah, not even that, but I do resonate with that. But on the foundery side of, like, reached out to some cats, and then some interactions, like, oh, that was kind of a bad interaction, and then have to, get up and go beyond that. Didn't really hit that a lot. Anyways, yeah, consumer rap, dude. If you can't freaking own one specific tiny little portion of the world, you could, or own a broader swath and have consumers be happy. But you gotta be good at the end of the day. Trump went to China. Soybeans kind of went down. Soybeans was a big thing that I think China and U.S. export and trade back and forth. Washington cleared 10 Chinese firms, ByteDance, Tencent, Alibaba, JD, Lenovo. Lenovo's Chinese. To purchase 75K NVIDIA H200s in the export framework. Google catches first AI-built zero-day, which is an export, or not an export, a engineering flaw, there's another word that starts with the vowel of e. Exploit, that's one. Google's threat intelligence group disclosed Monday the first confirmed case of attackers using an AI model to build a zero-day exploit deployed in the wild. It was a 2FA, two-factor authentication bypass, on a widely used open source sysadmin tool, not transadmin tool. You like that? Engineering cats would go crazy for that joke.
Wow, that's crazy.
Sysadmin, SYS. Google quietly patched the vendor before a planned mass exploitation event could trigger the cybersecurity inflection point. That's a narrative sentence I don't want to say. Amazon firing 14,000 people. Ex-engineer convicted of TPU, everybody say it, Tensor Processing Unit, trade secret theft, 500 files, China exposure, and a new legal template for AIIP. Bonjan, a federal jury convicted a former Google software engineer this week on multiple counts of trade secret theft after he transferred over 500 confidential files covering Google's proprietary TPU chip architecture, software stack, and manufacturing process to personal accounts before joining two China-linked AI ventures.
Can't be doing that.
Holy moly. First crim conviction in the post-2023 AI IP enforcement era. Apparently, they were enforcing IP on AI in 2023. Jeezy, dude.
Did you hear about that mayor in LA City who was a Chinese spy?
I did. I saw that. Whoopsie.
What's going on here?
Whoopsie, dude.
What's going on here, guys?
Who
are we electing?
This is Eileen Wang, was a mayor of Arcadia. Shout out, dude.
Shout out Arcadia.
Resigned in May 2026, the year of your Lord, after agreeing to plead guilty to federal charges of acting as an illegal agent for the Chinese government. This is coming from Google's AI overview. Federal
How did they find that out?
Authorities stated Wang took directives from Chinese government officials and frequently sought their approval before circulating specific articles. Back to media, dude, including some that denied allegations of forced labor and genocide in China, with their just talking about newspaper articles in the local Arcadia paper. You know, if it was just that, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot more than that as well. But if sometimes people are really dumb, you know, sometimes you give people more credit for as a human than they can live up to. And sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if a Chinese like intern over at the government was WhatsApping with this chick. It was like, yo, dude, make sure China looks good in your local paper. And that's where it would be ending.
Why is the mayor in charge of the paper?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If that's all it was, that's hilarious. I'm sure it's not, but I wouldn't.
She must have been stoked, or China must have been stoked to get one of their spies as the mayor of one of our cities.
Got one, dude.
Yeah, it's like pretty deep in there.
Plants everywhere, and it's like, you know, it's basically like a VC model. You're at that point, you're seeding a bunch of different cities that were born there 80 years ago. Damn, I wonder how.
Ow.
If there's a book about seeding spies, because I'm sure every country has every country worth their name in dollars probably seeds spies in other countries. I guess the thing humans do. Weirdos.
I guess so.
I want like a framework that's basically like it's basically VC. You're freaking seeding different little places. And hopefully you get a jackpot winner, dude. Mayor, that's like a couple bill worth of VC seed.
Yeah. In Arcadia, like of all places too. I mean, you got the mall there. It's going to need a racetrack.
I don't know Arcadia like that.
Oh, dude, you don't follow Arcadia, bro? Arcadia?
A little too
east of Pasadena?
Oh, okay. Now we're talking, dude.
Yeah,
East of
just
Pasadena.
east.
Charged with one felony account, acting as an illegal agent of a foreign government, which carries a maximum. Okay, what do you think our maximum year amount in prison for acting as an illegal agent of a foreign government in the United States is?
50?
It's 10.
And then what? We just let her go home? What do you think China would do if we did that to them?
I wonder when that law was written. That's very interesting.
A little bit lenient, kind of like a slap on the wrist. Maybe the death penalty is more sufficient, right?
I mean, there's states that are. Well, this also is a federal thing. Is there a federal death penalty?
I don't know. Maybe I was thinking maybe more. Maybe not death penalty. Maybe like 40 years of hard labor.
Hard labor. We do
In a
see.
camp.
We do put a camp. Jeez. We do put United States citizens to labor for being little bad boys.
Yeah. So why is she's just getting a slap on the wrist?
This specific federal law violated was 18 U.S. Code lawyer symbol 951, which was originally enacted as part of the Espionage Act of 1917. And this Google is sourcing from Seton Hall, scholarship.shu.edu, and some other long hyperlink stuff. The non-traditional intelligence actor threat from the First World War to the present day. This is by David Aaron. This is what they're sourcing. Made in 2021 at 5:49 p.m. on February 8th in that year that I just said. And showing up on Google. A PDF, no less. Well, a view content.cgi. You know what CGI is?
CGI, computer graphics.
I feel like I've seen the view content thing. A lot of these research houses, bro, they don't be putting up their cool information easily scrapable. What's up with that?
They want you to scrape it, probably.
Put it in the PDF so I can scrape it.
Probably don't want you.
Why do you want me to scrape, bro?
They probably don't want you specifically.
Me?
Everyone else can scrape. Yeah.
Bro, I'm for the people. I'm for the people who read a profit.
Nah, you're for
you, bro. I'm giving you long-term the brand value.
You're stealing our content.
For people to feel like they're smarter with the stuff that you write.
You're stealing our content and not paying us.
Fine, I'll give you.
So you can go fuck yourself.
40 cents per article. I paid $6 for a newspaper yesterday. Back in my day, it was $4.
A newspaper?
Yeah.
Why? To
read. To profit.
$6 for a newspaper? What's this newspaper cure cancer? What is it? Cure cancer, Jordy?
It did chronicle a journalist, human, I bet. Although, again, I'm thinking about an agentic newsroom, dude.
Yikes, that's gross.
An agentic newsroom?
The only thing AI should be used for is coding.
One thing that hasn't been, except for one company that has, I'm sure other people do it, but I don't think I brought it up on a pod. I did post some content online on Meta's and ByteDance and Google's platforms. But there's a lab called Andor Labs. Mm-hmm. And they're an AI research lab. Andor? Hold on. They made a boutique shop AI. Andon, excuse me. Andon Labs. What kind of research is this AI stuff researching, really? Math? Anyways. Besides these folks at Andon, who have made some public experiments, they made a shop that is ran by AI. Probably their AI. An AI agent. Not a lot of consumer products hitting shelves AI-wise.
Yeah, well, the biggest probably is ChatGPT. I mean, there's a lot of like AI in stuff. You know what I always say? Like my grandpa always says, the best AI is the AI you don't even notice.
And I'm fine with that. What's the retail stuff that has AI? Like grandpa said that?
Like, yeah, so like, first of all, like the AI that everybody interacts with the most is probably just like regular Google search or YouTube recommendations or Spotify recommendations or navigation. There's AI in your phone to like pull up stuff. There's AI in your photo library for sure for image recognition. Just stuff that we take for granted.
Yes.
It's like right up in our face. Need AI for that. Need AI for that.
Yes. What other agentic, might I even dare say, processes have completely overtaken on a consumer product?
Probably Cursor is a good one.
Consumer.
Consumer software. ChatGPT.
It's hard to say anything else. It's again what some Sequoia cats were saying. People like a lot of make enterprise stuff, but sometimes you got to give someone stuff to bide their time with.
Well, that's the thing too. We're starting to see that the real value for AI is in the enterprise. I wouldn't be surprised if the consumer layer, like almost disappears, and only companies use AI.
Well, I'm here to save the day for consumers, bro. You want to read something on why you piss, bro? I was born in that fire. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Andon Labs is they're a research lab and they get funded, but they made a retail store in Stockholm too. Interesting. See, that's what I'm in terms of stacks, dude. These cats are probably just trying to make models and sell them. One, two, physical, like real world things they're doing experiments with that are consumer based. They made a radio station with only 3,000 views. They got pressed though. Look at these little kiddos, dude. I'll get them on the pod. You know, you stack into some consumer freaking cats getting tchotchkes that your version of OpenClaw bought, and then training off of that somehow against some data, dude. Come on.
It's also kind of not even worth it to make consumer products for AI because consumers are way less likely to pay for stuff. And AI is just so damn expensive to serve. You know, like a regular Joe Schmo Oyo Go will never pay $100, let alone 20 for ChatGPT. But me, I'm like, dude, this is a fucking no brainer. You know, like this is like, if you told me I would pay $100 for ChatGPT a year ago, I would have laughed at you.
This is Andon Labs Vending Bench 2, a benchmark for measuring AI model performance on running a business over a long time. They're just testing models. The gall. Okay. No, that's true. No, it's all good. A benchmark for measuring the AI tools, that being Claude GPT, Kimi, Gemini, Kimi K 2. Who's Kimi K?
It's a model. It's an open source model.
Yeah, I know. She's a model, but what is this? I was making a Kim Kardashian joke.
Failed.
Try it again. Say, well, because you said open source before I could. So you said, who's Kimi K? Kimi K's a model. Like, yeah, no, her dad was an Olympic gold medal winner, but what is this? AI. First scenario joke. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's not even factual too, because Kim's dad was a lawyer.
Found family. I don't know.
Yeah, the dad that stepped up.
I mean, the other one died, I think. Probably killed. Just kidding. I wouldn't make such an accusation. They have a leaderboard for running these models, for running a business over long-term horizon, tasked with running a simulated vending machine. Simulated? Is this fake? Over a year and scored on their bank account balance. Why would you... Okay. They have a leaderboard for a simulated vending machine ran by models, and Claude Opus 4.7 is in the lead with 10,000. But they
like, you go to the vending machine and get a model? I don't get it.
They also made a real radio station. Gave 4A Agnes their own radio stations, told them to stream around the clock, let them do everything themselves. They pick the music, line up the next track, multitasking, generate music. This is fun stuff. Anyways, thinking about consumers a little bit more.
Nah, fuck them, dude. Why put any effort into making products for people like you that don't even want to pay $20 for a ChatGPT?
I do. I pay both of them. They're lowest tiers.
Complaining about rate limits. Rate limit this dick, bitch.
4 messages, bro. 4 messages.
That's actually wild. It's probably like a high usage time. I know it fluctuates.
3 windows, 5-hour windows. I go to bed at 1 a.m. Limited to 3 a.m. when you wake up. Ooh, can't wait to use this. 3 messages. I'm rate limited again to the next window.
What did you ask?
To do
Was it like a
everything
big
I want.
task? Was it like a big task?
It's all a big task.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I mean, no, it's not it's not huge. I had some freaking scheduling, make a website, make me the best company to ever exist, make no mistakes.
Got it. Right. Or wait, you using Claude? No,
This is
Codex.
Claude. Codex,
Okay.
Codex was bad limit until Claude
Do you
made worse.
use Claude MD files?
Yes.
Okay, that'll save you some tokens.
I also had a bunch of their plugins on. And I think it was like running plugins every freaking time I said any messages. Why would that be a thing? Freaking only
Say
run.
that again?
They have Claude plugins for like product management skills. Their own Claude plugins.
Oh yeah.
And it said that it might be loading that every time. That makes no sense to do. Long chats,
Yeah,
whatever, dude. My chat wasn't that long. But either way, there's no way that should be a thing.
That's fucked.
And it makes me less stoked to buy a new tier.
It does.
Yeah, because if I know that, and you're not even telling me in a very succinct way, what the hell am I throttling on my side a little bit to get 3 messages? Like, you have my memory in the context of these chats, and you're kind of giving me a boilerplate reason why I'm running up a huge credit usage inefficiently. Why would a consumer, I guess maybe they're trying to weed out consumers, but why would a customer of yours be excited to give you more money to stop that if it's obscene in the first place, especially when it wasn't obscene at first?
I don't know. I mean, they've been bottlenecking it. They've been bottlenecking it more and more. Seems like each month.
I've heard the complaints. I didn't believe them. I trusted the brother-sister duo.
Yeah, imagine paying $20 a month, but using like $5,000 worth of tokens.
Hey, man.
That's what kind of business?
Bad. You guys priced bad. Come on, let me stay.
What kind of business is that? That's like,
I'm just trying to build, bro.
you pay up, ho.
Come on, no.
Pay up, ho.
Let me build the world's best company based off your company who made stuff. Come on, bro.
That's a thing too, Joe, to build the best company. You also, and like nothing changes in capitalism. In order to build something, you need resources.
Yeah.
And now the resources, the tokens, which cost
Are
money,
just owned by other people, except for you.
or just get the model and put it on your own machine. But you also need money for that.
Yeah.
That's a good computer. So, so you see how the market is just like working its magic.
Soybean market.
Can't get something from nothing.
Gave you $20, bro.
That's the fucking
Leave it that.
Yeah, dude. Give it a year. AI is going to become a luxury. Token maxing is dead.
It's already for sure a luxury thing, but
yeah. But also it's like the regular consumer, like the regular average person probably will never notice, will never ever hit a rate limit in their life with ChatGPT.
I think on the free tier, ChatGPT, it's kind of crazy to be on. Having a free ChatGPT is crazy. I know you guys like made money, but freaking, and I know you have to get users after you make that money to get users, but price.
Yeah, well, that's why they're going to put ads on it.
Yeah. On the free tier, I saw that creating an image is slower with the free tier, and you can upgrade.
I'm surprised they even let you create images at all. It should just be text. There should be no voice,
and people
no
would
images.
Be completely fine with that.
Yeah,
ads are going to be there. You guys didn't make a good business model.
Yeah.
Users, I get it. You get users first and then figure it out later.
Yeah, but this is like more than that. That would be like if Google, that would be like if Uber, when they were starting, gave all the drivers their own car.
Well, a little less like that. People chatting. You know, you could have stopped them at like 12 messages deep.
Nothing's stopping them from taking the free tier away.
Messages deep, dude. Okay, we got to do an intro. Thanks for listening.